displaying the glory of God's creation by exploring America one park at a time. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave, the parks professor. 10th hole. The par and distance are at the top of the screen. The last 3 holes on the front 9 played through a lightly wooded and mostly open area. But now we plunge into the deep woods where we're going to stay for the rest of the course. Also, this area has some steeper ravines and steeper hills, far steeper than anything we saw on the front side. This hole's slightly downhill, and then it curves to the left here right before you get to the basket. You can see that steep ravine behind the basket. There's the view back up the fairway, back to the tee. Hole number 11, and this hole continues the gradual downhill from the previous hole. It also has a significant dogleg right, which we're going to get to here momentarily. This hole is heavily wooded, and it's fairly tight. There are several possible lines you could take through the trees. You could take the line that I'm walking here. There's also another line off to the left that will also get you down to the basket. But both of these lines are pretty tight, and you're going to need some accurate throws to get down here to the basket. I do want to welcome you back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave, the parks professor. We are at Bradley Community Center and Park. We are in Gastonia, North Carolina, and so we're on the west side of the Charlotte metro area. Here's the basket. This is a pretty nice hole. There's the view back to the tee. The 12th hole is probably the signature hole on this course. It's a short hole, but it plays across a steep ravine, which is off to the left of where we're walking right here. Also, there are a lot of trees that you have to deal with, so you're going to need an accurate throw. If you throw down into the ravine, you can get down there and recover, make a recovery throw back up towards the basket, but it's going to be steep. There's a lot of terrain to deal with on this hole. This is probably the most memorable hole on this course. The 13th hole finishes the sequence of downhill holes, and it's also the steepest downhill hole on this course. It's also a slight dogleg left. Other than those two features, it's another downhill, heavily wooded hole. I captured this video on Tuesday, November the 28th, and the temperature here was in the upper 40s when I captured this video. As you can tell by the shadows, it was very late in the day, only about an hour before sunset. I don't typically like capturing video this late in the day, but that's when I was able to get here. I walked kind of slowly there for a little while because it really was quite steep there. But it flattens out when you get down to the basket. Also some nice large trees down here by the basket. Now we head back uphill in the opposite direction on the 14th hole. There's a super steep area here right in front of the tee, and so we are going to jump to the top of that, and then we're going to continue going up towards the basket. This is a fairly tight hole, as all of the holes on this part of the course are. Also, there's a sharp dogleg coming up here. This course has several holes that have sharp doglegs. On the front 9 we saw the 3rd hole, with a sharp dogleg left. This one's also a sharp dogleg left, and there's a Mando over on the inside of the dogleg. Personally, I don't really care for all of these sharp doglegs, and to me that's one of the downsides to playing this course. But that's the design feature they chose to use. The 15th hole is another long uphill hole, but the upgrade here is much more gradual than it was on the previous hole. This hole is also a double dogleg. We are going to dogleg softly to the right here, and then a little ways on up here we are going to dogleg sharply over to the left. And there's a Mando there off to the left, so you cannot cut the inside of the sharper dogleg, at least not too much. The 16th tee is off to the left here, and it is somewhat of a safety hazard. The 16th tee is actually inside the sharp dogleg of the 15th hole. There aren't too many safety hazards on this course, but that's one of them. There's actually a shelter over there to protect the people on the 16th tee. For the 16th hole, we're back to going downhill again, and this is another fairly steep downhill hole, similar to the 13th hole that we saw earlier. This hole is heavily wooded, like every hole is here on the back 9, and I'm walking kind of slowly because the hill is so steep. I'm just being careful where I step here. As we get closer to the basket, you'll see that there is a creek directly behind the basket. And especially coming downhill, you have to be careful not to overthrow. If you end up back there in that creek, that's going to be at least a tough recovery throw and maybe even a lost disc. There's also a lot of dense brush back there. The 17th hole may be the tightest hole on this course. It starts out sharply uphill, and as you can see, we're looking directly into the sun here. Also, the creek that was behind the previous basket is now off to the left, and so you really don't want to miss left here. There is at least a decent amount of room off to the right. As we come up to the basket, you'll see that there's another sharp drop-off behind and to the left of the basket. So you really don't want to go left, and you really don't want to go long here. '18th and final hole. It starts out by going slightly uphill, and we're finally going to break out of the woods up here. But this is another sharp dogleg, a sharp dogleg left, and there are mandos on the inside of the dogleg. If you don't like dogleg holes, and I don't really like sharp dogleg holes like this one, then you're not really going to like this course, because this course has several holes of this flavor. I do want to thank you for watching. Parking full-time would not be anything without the people who watch. I realize that every day, and I thank you every day. Also, as a reminder, I do not make any monetary compensation for any of the work that I do for this project, and therefore all I get for doing these videos and these walkabouts are your likes, your subscribes, your comments, and your views, and I do appreciate all of those things. Overall, this is a good course. It gets overlooked a little bit with some of the big famous courses up here in Charlotte. This course is shorter, and it has a couple of things I think could be better, but I enjoyed my round here. That's the end of the course. Have a great afternoon, take care, and Lord bless.